Malcolm-Jamal Warner, dead at the age of 54 on a drowning accident while he was vacationing with his family in Costa Rica.
Dave Chappelle just dropped a bombshell that changes everything about Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death. He said Malcolm didn't drown in Costa Rica. He was eliminated for refusing to sell his soul to Hollywood.
If I die tomorrow, I know I would go with a smile on my face.
I think I was very fortunate coming out the gate with Cosby, which put me in a position where, and because I've always had a good team around me, I've always been in a position where I've had the luxury of being meticulous about the kind of roles that I choose.
This is the same Dave Chappelle who ran to Africa without telling his own family because they were coming for him too. Now he's back, and he's exposing exactly how they took out the Cosby Show star. Dave broke his silence after months of staying quiet. He said he couldn't watch them lie about Malcolm anymore. The official story about drowning was a cover-up. Malcolm was eliminated for saying no to the wrong people. According to Dave, Malcolm got the same call every successful Black actor gets. The call where they offer you everything, money, fame, movie deals, but you have to give them your soul in return. Malcolm said no. That decision cost him his life. Dave knows exactly what that call sounds like. He knows the voices on the other end. He knows the promises they make and the threats that come when you refuse. He lived through it. Malcolm didn't.
There are strong rip currents that are deceiving.
Mike?
Bring them to the surface and give the emergency respirations.
Right there.
Right there.
In the water.
In the water on the surface. Onto that, my friend rapidly took him into the beach and they immediately began CPR.
Malcolm-Jamal Warner wasn't just a celebrity. He was thoughtful, grounded, and strategic about the roles he took. In one of his final interviews, Malcolm talked openly about staying true to his values. He credited his mother for teaching him longevity in the entertainment world, how to survive the highs and the lows without selling your soul. He said it clearly, "I've never had to take a role that compromised my soul." In a place like Hollywood, where image is everything and loyalty is often traded for fame, that kind of talk was bold, maybe too bold. Just days before his reported death, he publicly revealed that he turned down a massive film deal. Millions of dollars were offered, but the roles came with strings, agendas, messages he didn't believe in. He said no. To some, it was integrity. To others, it was a fatal decision. Dave Chappelle says that moment sealed Malcolm's fate. That when you say no to power in Tinseltown, you don't just walk away, you're made into a cautionary tale. According to official reports, Malcolm-Jamal Warner passed away while swimming off the coast of Costa Rica. A strong undercurrent reportedly pulled him and another man into deep water. Although rescue teams and the Red Cross performed CPR and tried for over 45 minutes, Malcolm was declared dead on the beach. The other swimmer survived. At first glance, it seemed like a terrible accident, but fans quickly noticed something didn't feel right. Just days earlier, Malcolm had been trending for that integrity-filled interview. He arrived in Costa Rica smiling, laughing. TMZ even released footage of him landing, clearly in good spirits. Was he there to celebrate, get away from the noise, or was it something else entirely? The man with him, never publicly identified, survived, but details around him remain incredibly vague. Why was Malcolm, who was careful and deeply cautious, swimming in dangerous waters that day? Why did no one see it coming? The Costa Rica trip was supposed to be Malcolm celebrating his freedom. He thought he'd made it through the danger. He thought saying no was the end of it. But Dave knew better. He'd been through this before. Dave's story starts in 2005. Comedy Central offered him $50 million for his show. Everyone thought he was crazy for walking away. But Dave saw what came with that money. He saw the contracts, he saw the handlers, he saw the medication they wanted him to take. They didn't just want Dave's show, they wanted Dave's mind. They wanted to control what he said, what he thought, what he believed. The $50 million came with strings that would turn him into a puppet. When Dave started asking questions about the deal, things got dark fast. Executives who were friendly turned cold, people started following him. His phone calls were monitored. He realized he wasn't negotiating a TV deal anymore. He was fighting for his life. Dave made a decision that saved him. He ran. No warning, no goodbye. He bought a ticket to South Africa and disappeared. His own family didn't know where he was. His friends thought he'd lost his mind, but Dave knew staying meant death or slavery. The media attacked him immediately. They said he was on crack. They said he had a mental breakdown. They said everything except the truth, that Hollywood was trying to destroy him for refusing their deal. While Dave hid in Africa, they destroyed his reputation. Every newspaper ran stories about crazy Dave Chappelle. Every comic made jokes about him losing his mind. They turned him into a warning for other entertainers. But Dave survived. He stayed in Africa until the heat died down. He came back different, quieter, but alive. Malcolm didn't get that chance. He didn't run when he should have. Years later, he sat down with Oprah to explain. But every time he edged closer to the truth, she interrupted, pressured him to say it was all mental illness, to make it all look like his fault. But Dave stayed calm. "I wasn't crazy," he said. "I was stressed, but I felt like I was being deliberately stressed." And now, according to Dave, something chilling happened with Malcolm. He got the offer. He said no. Dave tried to warn him the same darkness was coming, but Malcolm didn't flee, and he didn't get a second chance. What happened to Malcolm and Dave might seem shocking until you look at the pattern. This isn't a one-off. You start to notice it again and again. Talented Black entertainers reaching a new level of success, only to hit a wall, a choice, a deal, and then things fall apart overnight. Take Mariah Carey. She signed a $100 million contract in the early 2000s. Months later, she reportedly had a breakdown and checked into a hospital. Media painted it as personal drama, but the timing? Suspicious. Martin Lawrence, another major star in the 90s, was seen running through LA streets with a gun, screaming, "They're trying to kill me." He was hospitalized too. They called it exhaustion, just like they always do when someone stops cooperating. Then there's Cat Williams.
Against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time.
According to singer Jaguar Wright, Cat wasn't just being followed, he was being hunted. Armed men broke into his home. He became so paranoid he started sleeping in a Kevlar vest, not just on tour, at home. Even he admitted once, "They want to turn me into a character, a puppet." I said no. And now, with Malcolm's story surfacing, people are asking, how many others said no? Is all this just coincidence? Or are these moments warnings in disguise? Dave Chappelle says that refusing the deal isn't just about risking your job. It's about risking your life, your mind, and your freedom. Those who play along might thrive, but those who resist, they vanish, they break, or they end up remembered not for their achievements, but for their silence. It's not just older stars feeling the pressure. Younger talents today are being pulled into the same cycle. And one of the latest to show the cracks is Chloe Bailey. One half of the musical duo Chloe x Halle, she's often been praised for her voice, style, and confidence. But fame, especially in an industry built on secrets, comes with a toll. During a recent live stream, Chloe opened up after watching a film called Sinners. The movie, in short, is about an artist who's offered the world in exchange for her soul. Sound familiar? Chloe was emotional, even tearful. She told fans, "I cried." Because that's what this industry is. You can be good, you can be talented, but unless you give in to them, you don't make it. She didn't say who they were. She didn't need to. The look in her eyes said plenty. The pauses. The fear of saying too much. Chloe's words reflected the same internal battle that others, like Dave and Malcolm, faced years before. She hasn't vanished, broken down, or gone off the grid yet. But her confession is a crack in the surface. A glimpse underneath the glitter, into the pressure young stars endure the moment they hit that next level. And it makes you wonder, are these confessions just emotional outbursts? Or are they early warnings from those still trying to stay afloat? When they speak, we often don't listen until it's too late. As news of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing spread, fans didn't just mourn, they started asking hard questions. Why would someone like Malcolm, so meticulous, so private, so careful about the image he portrayed, go swimming in a notoriously rough part of Costa Rica's ocean? Why was the identity of the second man, the one who survived, never released publicly? Who was he? Why so much secrecy? Even stranger, Malcolm reportedly left his daughter on shore during that swim. Why would a devoted father take such a risky dive with his child close by? Some fans believe that timeline doesn't line up with what they know of him. Not his values, not his actions, not his usual behavior. And the TMZ footage? People are still debating it. The video shows Malcolm landing in Costa Rica, smiling, but eagle-eyed viewers noticed what looked like security or handlers around him. Not friends, not family, but distant figures, watching from a little too far away. One fan commented, "That didn't look like a vacation, that looked like surveillance." And the timing? Just days after his viral interview about integrity and the offer he turned down, fans aren't buying coincidence anymore. They're seeing patterns. They're pointing to past tragedies and asking, how many celebrities have to fall before we start connecting the dots? Was Malcolm just incredibly unlucky? Or was he, as Dave Chappelle claims, made an example of? The deeper you look, the less the surface story holds. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was never the loudest voice in the room. He never chased shock value or made headlines for scandals. Instead, he let his work and integrity speak for him. In an interview just weeks before his passing, Malcolm said something that now hits much harder. "There may be work I'm embarrassed by, because I might have been whack, but never because I misrepresented my people. Never because I compromised my soul." That quote has become a rallying cry for fans and artists alike. It defines a man who moved through Hollywood on his terms, in a system that rarely allows that kind of freedom. He didn't rant like Cat Williams. He didn't walk away in a blaze like Dave. He didn't crack under pressure like so many others. Instead, Malcolm stood quietly strong. And that quiet strength, according to some, might have painted a bigger target on his back. Dave Chappelle warned him. He said he made the same choice and barely survived. But Dave ran. Malcolm stayed. In the end, there were no public breakdowns, no social media meltdowns, just a man who said no to the wrong deal and yes to himself. And for that, he may have paid the ultimate price. Was it courage? Was it defiance? Or was it the final chapter of a man who walked a path others weren't brave enough to follow? Either way, he left behind something no one can erase. Proof that you can play the game with integrity. Even if the game doesn't play fair. Chappelle, Malcolm, Category, Chloe, same story, different names. And the pattern is terrifying. They rise up, get the offer, say no, and then the fallout hits. Vanish, breakdowns, or running. The red carpet shines, but the cost can be dark. Call it a theory, but the parallels are hard to ignore. Play the game or get played. Dave fled to Africa. And Malcolm? His story still raises questions. The rabbit hole goes deeper than you think.